There is a number Detroit will not say on an earnings call. The most American thing you can buy an electric truck built in Michigan is more depend on China than the gas car it replaced. Not a little, and the numbers prove it. I'm in Shanghai, I'm going to show you the receipts. You were sold the electric car as freedom. Freedom from oil, from OPEC, from foreign control. And the truth is the exact opposite. But here is the part that should actually scare you. And it is in the battery. It is in the magnet. It's something I'm going to say for the very end. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Start with what changed. For 50 years, America's oil came from everywhere. Saudi Arabia, Texas, Canada, the North Sea. You could play one against another. That competition was your safety. The electric car erased it. One country now controls the battery, the magnet, and the supply chain underneath both. You didn't escape dependence. You concentrated it. And here is the part that should stop you. This wasn't luck. 20 years ago, while American car makers were chasing quarterly profits and cutting costs, China made a plan. They bought the mines, they built the refiners nobody else wanted. They subsidized the batteries until they were the cheapest on earth. Step by step, in plain sight for 2 decades. The West optimized for this quarter. China built for this decade. And now the decade is here. So this stops being a part story. 10 years ago, the idea that a Chinese car makers could outbuild Detroit was a joke. Today, a company called BYD, a name most Americans can't even pronounce, sells more electric cars than anyone on earth. They build a car in the time it takes Detroit to schedule a meeting about building one. They didn't just supply the industry, they took it. So think about what you were told. Drive electric, be independent, be clean. Every one of those words was true on the sticker and false under the hood. The cleaner your car got, the more of it ran through one country. The green choice and the China choice were never two choices. They were one. And don't think this stops at your driveway. The same motor, the same magnet, the same one country. It's in the drone filming the wedding, the e-bike in the garage, the power tool on the shelf, the wind turbine. Your whole state is beating its power grid on. If it spins, if it charges, if it moves, it runs on the same chain. The car is just the biggest, most expensive version of a dependence that's already sitting in your house. So the real question was never, is my car electric? It's who owns the industry I just bet my company on. And the answer is already in the data. This isn't a forecast, it's scoreboard. A Chinese brand now outsells the American icon in market after market. That's not a trend line. It's a finished race most people haven't been told is over. If this is the kind of intelligence you want before your competitors do, subscribe. One a week from inside the machine, that's the whole deal. Now picture the room where this goes wrong. A boardroom, smart people, they see the threat and they make the same mistake I watch every single week. They say, we will build a cheaper battery. We will outprice them. They pour $100 million into race against the cheapest factory on earth. So you do not beat the cheapest factory by being cheaper. You just lose slower and call it a strategy. That 100 million was the most expensive way to come second. If this is changing how you see it, tap the like. It pushes this to the people about to make that exact mistake. So here is what the few winners figured out. They stopped trying to win the battery. They asked one better question. What part of this car can China not take? Not the metal, not the cell, the software, the self-driving, the brand, the experience you can't copy on a factory line. That's where the money moved. So here is your move. And it's not find a second supplier, it's bigger. And hear me, nothing here is too late. The value is still moving. You can move with it. Look at Apple. The phone is built in China, but the design, the software, the brand, the part that keeps the profit stays where China can't reach it. Apple makes pennies on the glass and dollars on everything you can't copy. Now, look at Tesla when it works. The car is metal, but the value is the software, the charging network, the brand people line up for. 1. Split your product into 2 parts. The cheap part, China will always win, and the part it can never take. 2. Stop spending to win the cheap part, give it up on purpose. 3. Move everything that protects you to the part that can't be copied. Software, service, brand, experience. Compete where you can actually win. This is where operators separate from spectators. The spectators are in lab right now trying to build a cheaper battery they will never sell. The operators already moved to the part of the car that prints the profit. The edge doesn't go to the strongest, it goes to whoever picks the right fight. One ask, if this gave you a frame you didn't have this morning, subscribe. It's how I keep doing this from Shanghai. Now, the thing I promised at the start, the part scarier than the battery, it's this. When one country makes the best car, the cheapest car, and the most cars, it stops being a supplier, it starts writing the rules, the standards, the plug in your wall, the software in your dashboard, the terms everyone else has to build to. You don't just buy from the winner. Eventually, you build the way the winner tells you to. That's the real game. And it's why next week matters. Every American CEO is trying to escape this by running to Vietnam, Thailand, Bangladesh. But when they get there, the factory is already Chinese owned. That's next Thursday from Shanghai.